Hello everyone, it's Father back again for my weekly video update. I hope that you had a wonderful week and that you're looking forward to the upcoming weekend. If you're watching this video on Friday, May 2nd, today is the first Friday of the month. So as we do every Friday, we have adoration going on in the chapel all day. And because it's first Friday, we'll have confession available beginning at 6:30 p.m. And then we'll finish the day with benediction at 7 p.m. So I hope you'll take an advantage of this opportunity for prayer on this first Friday of the month of May. Just a reminder that there will be no first Saturday Mass tomorrow morning. That is because of the ordination to the diaconate that is taking place at the cathedral tomorrow morning. So one of those being ordained is Trey Bart, whom we remember from his pastoral year here at St. Mark. So I'm going to be going down for the ordination. That's why there's going to be no first Saturday Mass here tomorrow. If you're making the first Saturday devotion and looking to attend Mass tomorrow, certainly you're welcome to come to the ordination Mass. And also the Saturday evening Mass does fulfill that first Saturday devotion. Also among those being ordained is Russ Sullivan, and Russ will be with us here at St. Mark this summer, and then on weekends through the school year, and then the next summer as well, as he prepares for his eventual ordination to the priesthood in June of 2026. So we know we're going to have two of the deacons being ordained Saturday morning who have connections or will have connection to St. Mark and this wonderful parish. Funny story about soon-to-be Deacon Russ. I was the associate pastor at his home parish, St. John the Evangelist in Severna Park, from 2010 until 2012. And when I was there, Russ was in middle school. So a number of years have passed since then, and he's all grown up now, and he's going to become a deacon. And I'm very much looking forward to having Russ at St. Mark, Deacon Russ at St. Mark over the next year. Also this summer, we'll be welcoming seminarian Matthew Hussein to our parish. Matthew is from Holy Family Parish in Middletown, which is in Frederick County, and he'll be with us for the months of June and July. So certainly looking forward to welcoming both of those seminarians this summer. This weekend, we have a lot going on at the parish. We're going to have coffee and donuts following the 9 and 11 a.m. Masses. That's courtesy of our pastoral council who's putting that together for us. So plan to stay a little bit longer after Mass this weekend if you go to the 9 or the 11. And then also at the 9 and 11 a.m. Masses this weekend, we're going to be celebrating First Holy Communion. The springtime is generally a sacrament time, and so we have First Holy Communion on this first weekend of May at 9 and 11 a.m. And then next Saturday, which is May the 10th, we're going to be celebrating the sacrament of confirmation. Bishop Lewandowski is going to be here with us next Saturday to confirm many of our young people with the sacrament of confirmation. So please, if you would, pray for our first communicants this weekend, for them and their parents, and then please keep in prayer those who are being confirmed next Saturday as well. Then next Sunday, May 11th, which is Mother's Day, Deacon Trey is going to be with us at the 9 and the 11 a.m. Masses. He's going to be preaching those Masses, and the May procession will follow the 9 a.m. Mass next Sunday. And then we'll have some coffee and cake after all that to celebrate Mary and to celebrate Deacon Trey as well. So a lot going on over the next couple weekends. Very, very exciting. Of course, these weeks are times also for graduation. So we have our annual blessing of graduates coming up. There's a little graphic for that in the email that I sent to you today. If you or someone you know is graduating this year from high school or college, and they would like to participate in that blessing, the registration link is also available from that email. And finally, looking to what's going on in the Church Universal these days. Of course, last Saturday was the funeral Mass of our Holy Father, Pope Francis, and that Mass was the beginning of 9 days of mourning for the Pope. kind of like a novena. We have 9 days of masses for him to pray for the repose of his soul. Those masses are happening every day in Rome. We've been celebrating Mass for the deceased pontiff here at St. Mark as well, and we'll be doing that through Sunday. Sunday is the last day of those 9 days of mourning. And then it's been announced that the conclave will begin next Wednesday, which is May 7th. So please also add to your prayers the cardinals who will be gathering to elect the new pope. So this is certainly a very interesting process. We don't see this unfold very often. The last time we had the death of a sitting pope was 20 years ago with St. John Paul II. Things were a little different when Pope Francis was elected because of it was because of a resignation and not the death of a pope. So it's been 20 years since we've seen these events unfold in this manner, and it can gather a lot of attention and from the secular world and also a lot of attention from us as well, because I think it's fascinating that we can literally watch these things unfolding in real time thanks to the internet. So what's happening right now are called the general congregations. So the cardinals gather every day for these general congregations. They do the day-to-day business of the Holy See. They keep the lights on and the bills paid, so to speak. And then they also hear what are called interventions from each of the cardinals. Each of the cardinals has an allotted time in which they can speak, and they can speak about whatever they want. Usually it's about kind of the situation in the church and what they perceive as necessary qualifications for the new Holy Father. So I think today was the 8th General Congregation, something like that, since the death of the Pope, and those will continue until Wednesday. And then Wednesday, all of the cardinals will gather in St. Peter's Basilica, and they will have the Mass for the election of the Pope. And then from that Mass, they will gather together in the Pauline Chapel, which is in Vatican City there. And then they will go in procession to the Sistine Chapel, where they will be locked in for the vote. That's where the word conclave comes from, conclave, with key. So they're locked in there, so to speak. They're not allowed to have contact with the outside world, and no one who is not part of the voting process is allowed in there. And then they go through a series of votes. There's a whole procedure by which they vote. They have to write their names, the name of the candidate or the person they think is the best to be Pope, and they write it on a piece of paper, and then they walk it up to the altar in the Sistine Chapel, and they have to make an oath. They have to swear that this is the person that they think would be the best Pope, and they drop it in an urn, and then designated cardinals tally the vote multiple times. And then if no one is elected, they take all of the paper that's involved in that particular vote and burn it. That's where the smoke comes from. So if no one is elected, it's black smoke. And then when someone is elected, there's something that they add to the fire to make the smoke come up white. You have to have a 2/3 majority to be elected Pope, so that's 90 votes or more, because there's 133 eligible cardinal electors. You have to be under the age of 80 in order to vote in the conclave. Actually, in order to go into the conclave, you have to be under the age of 80. So those rounds of voting go on. I believe there's 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon until someone reaches that 90 vote threshold. In recent years, conclaves have not gone on particularly long. I think 2 days average. But, you know, as things go, you never know what's going to happen. Once you go in there, they never know what exactly is going to transpire. If you've been following, there's lots of speculation about who might become Pope. There's an Italian word that is called papabile, which basically means popeable. And there's a kind of a running list of who is papabile, possible to be elected Pope. I know there's odds, like, you know, the Vegas odd makers have odds on these things, and I guess you can bet on them somehow. I'm not sure. But there's an old expression that he who goes into the conclave Pope comes out cardinal. That even though it might seem that you are the favored candidate going in, chances are something is going to happen or change when everyone's actually in and voting. So I put a link, actually 2 links in the email that I sent to you today of 2 different websites that have listings of the cardinals. You can read about them, where they come from, who made them cardinal, and lots of different information. And each of those 2 websites presents things a little bit differently, and that's interesting to me as well. One of them is El País, which is a Spanish newspaper. But it's in English, but it's a Spanish publication. And it's interesting to see what people in other countries are thinking. We tend to have a very American-centered focus and think that everything kind of revolves around what we think. But as we know, the church is a lot bigger than that. So there's a lot of other areas of the world that have a say in this. So it's interesting to see what people in other countries are saying. There's some commonalities between the 2 lists. One is 22 and one is 15. So there's a lot of commonalities, but there are some differences among them too. So if you're interested, you could click on those links and read a little bit more about it. I caution you just a little bit. It is a little bit of a rabbit hole. You can kind of start going down it, and time can go by very, very quickly. It's happened to me, so it can happen to you as well. Above all else, I think for us, this is a time for prayer. Prayer for, of course, the repose of the soul of Pope Francis. Also prayers for the cardinals, the cardinal electors who are going into the conclave, that they might listen to the promptings of the Spirit, and that the Holy Spirit might pour himself out abundantly upon them. And then also for the whole church. There's some uncertainty that comes with this time when we're in between popes, and the college has to vote, and there's a little bit of uncertainty that comes with that. So I think we can pray for the church at large as well. So thanks for taking some time to watch this update. I look forward to seeing you at church this weekend. There's a lot going on, a very exciting time of the year. So God bless you and have a wonderful week.